everyone, welcome. This is AI with Integrity, Understanding Cisco's AI Responsible Framework. My name is Lali, and I'm a senior engineer leader here at Cisco, working on the networking platform. And this is my co-presenter, Priya.
Hi, my name is Priya. I'm a technical marketing engineer for Cisco networking platform and all the AI initiatives that we have. And go ahead, Lali.
All right, so a little bit about me. Why am I talking to you today? So I actually been at Cisco for about 12 years, doing several different things, from IT operations to cloud things. I worked in collaboration for a little bit, and today I find myself in the Meraki dashboard, particularly working on the JavaScript platform of the dashboard, the new experiences that you're seeing, the new UI, including the AI Assistant UI that you see. And all things that I have in common, things that I worked on, is my passion for developer experience and user experience.
And again, my name is Priya. I used to be a software engineer, and then I wanted to really understand how to talk to my customers and understand the impact that we make. So I turned out to be a technical marketing engineer at networking platform team, and I'm currently working on all AI initiatives on the Cisco networking cloud, which is the Meraki dashboard that some of you are aware of. And some of my hobbies are badminton and playing guitar. Also, I'm very passionate about the networking technology in general. So let's quickly go ahead and dive into session, and I have my LinkedIn information if anybody wants to connect. And go ahead, Lali.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the different types of product interactions and like what does that mean and what's shifting in the landscape of applications. We're going to talk about Cisco's responsible AI framework and the two pieces that compose that, the user experience part and the data management. And then at the end, we'll show you a demo of how these principles come to life in the AI Assistant for networking. So we'll start with the demo. So we'll show you first something that hopefully you're familiar with, right? You go to the Meraki dashboard, you're a network admin, and you want to look at the inventory of sensors that you have on your network. So what do? You go to sensors, and then you go to the sensor list. And then here you can see all the list of sensors. So this is kind of like what you typically do with a web application, right? You have something that you want to do, and then you come and perform it. Now, you can do the same thing with AI. Oh no, it's not showing the AI. Refresh the page. So hopefully, yeah, we can go to the AI Assistant.
Go to the video.
The what?
Go to the video. Yeah. So you're a network admin, so again, like Lali mentioned, you're looking at the list of sensors. That is something that you want to do. There are different ways that you can do. Traditionally, we've been doing in CLI. You can do it with APIs, or there is another way that you can launch AI Assistant on the dashboard and ask questions to ask basically show me the list of sensors or something. So this is what we were trying to explain by showing our dashboard, but we'll come back to this video later and to show an end-to-end demo of how we are doing AI in Meraki dashboard. So go ahead, Lali.
All right, so what we just show you, it's basically different ways of interacting with data, right? So we had two big interaction models. We have the traditional interaction model. I just showed you the Meraki dashboard, right? Which is like the interactivity is command-based. You come and you perform a command. You can do that in a CLI, right? You literally type a command, and then the outcome happens. You can go to the dashboard. So the way that I get to the sensor list is by going to the menu, clicking on sensors. That's my command. Go to the sensors, and then you show the page, and then you see the data. So that's kind of like how it works. And the outcomes of these interactions are deterministic. That means every time you click sensor list, you're going to go to the sensor list page when you go to the menu. Every time you type the same command with the same parameters on a CLI, you're going to get the same outcome. And that's what we call deterministic. But now we're seeing this emergence of new interactions with AI. And so those are what we call AI applications, where you don't come and interact with it on a command basis. You come with an outcome, expecting an outcome, right? And the way that the AI assistant gets to that outcome is non-deterministic. So if you think about it, the way that AI works is like if you're new to a city and you don't know how to get to the grocery store, and you ask someone, they're like, hey, how do I get to the grocery store? because you don't know the city, they might give you the most straightforward path of getting. You just take this really big avenue, and then you turn left on this other big avenue, and then you're gonna find it, right? So that's one way of getting there. But then, as you start living in the city, you start learning some other smaller streets that maybe they're harder to get to, and then you start finding shortcuts on how to get to that same store. And so now you find a different way of getting to the same place. Same thing with AI, right? Like AI, as it's learning, as it's getting more data, as it's being trained, it may change the way it gets to the outcome that you ask it to do. And so therefore, every time you ask something, it may get there differently, and the outcomes are not deterministic. So I just talked about all this, right? Traditionally, we have an outcome-based interactions where you go and perform a set of tasks, or a task specifically that you have in mind, and you do it, and you get the outcome. And that outcome is going to be deterministic because you get the same result every time you do the same action. Now with AI, again, you don't come to perform a set of tasks, you just want to get somewhere. So it's an outcome-based interaction that you have. And like we talked about on the map example, it's non-deterministic, right? The AI might get to the same outcome differently, but we don't know how it got there. So what does that mean? I think if you were at the keynote, Gito talked about this. Now that we have this new way of interacting with apps, then that means that we're opening a new class of risks or security risk vectors that we didn't have before. And the two big categories here are safety and security. So G2 covered a lot of the security portion with all the security products that Cisco's offering here, so I don't have to talk about that. But I'll focus on safety, because that is what the responsible AI framework does. It ensures that we have safety in the way that present AI applications. And at the end of the day, all of this is to build trust, right? If you don't trust the systems that you're working with, then what do you have? And so just to remind of like this quote, right? Trust is hard to earn, it's easily lost, and it's difficult to reestablish. And this is why we have the AI responsible framework and the principles that we'll talk about. So let's get into the principles. As I mentioned, there are two types of principles here that we're going to be talking about. There is, applications are made up of a user experience layer, but we also have the data models. And we have different principles based on which layer we're talking about. And so for the user experience one, this is kind of like determines the principles in which we build the experiences that end customers see and use and interact with directly. For instance, the AI Assistant is a chat box experience where you're interacting with a model based on text. And on the data model side, this is what we do to protect the data and the integrity of the models that we're building behind the scenes on the things that you're interacting with on the AI application. So on the user experience side, there are 5 principles that we build our experiences on. That will be privacy, transparency, verification, friction, and user control. So for privacy, what does that mean? In privacy, that means that we make sure that you understand the data that we're using and how we're using it, and that you have consented to give us access to use that in the experience or in the interaction that we're going to have. And one way that we showcase the privacy principle in the AI Assistant is by making it clear when you have the onboarding experience what data we're using and for what. And this is how we show privacy on the experience. We also have the principle of transparency. And that means that a user should always be aware that they're interacting with an AI, and that when something that you receive is generated by AI. So you understand that this is not a person making a choice or a data coming from a database. This is an AI decision that happened. And the way that we do that on the AI Assistant, for instance, is that we tell you that this was generated by AI and that you should verify what you're getting. So we're letting you know that this is something that a model is doing and not something that we're retrieving from an API or a database. Verification. So that means that we let you know what we did so that you can verify yourself with the outcome that the AI gave you. And so, for instance, in the AI Assistant, when you give you an answer, we show you a list of sources that you can then click and verify to make sure that the cross-reference that the data or the response that the AI gave you actually corresponds to the data source that you gathered the data from. we also have friction, which might sound a little bit weird, but it's actually a good thing. Like friction means that we actually make a little bit of friction in the interaction that you have so that you are deliberate about when you use AI and for what. And so these things are a little bit more difficult to explain, but in every interaction, like we make sure it's like, let's put the power in the hands of the users so that they know, even though it might be simpler to just give you an answer or do something for you, you're gonna make it a little bit less easy so that you understand and that you acknowledge that this is being done by the AI and not some other system, or you're not aware of that. And last is user control. And that means that if the AI is going to perform something on behalf of the user, that you acknowledge or opt into what the AI is going to do. So this is an example of, in the AI assistant response, that you might be want to add a user. The AI is ready to do so, but is waiting for confirmation from the user that you acknowledge that you want the AI to do this for you. Next, we're going to move into the principles of responsible AI on the data models. And I'll have Priya do that.
Thank you, Lali. So we saw everything before, which was pretty much covered. Now let's see how responsibly we are building the AI model and the AI assistant for the Meraki dashboard on the Cisco networking cloud. Like Lali went over, we have transparency, privacy, security, reliability, fairness, and accountability, by which means that we are also informing the user on what type of decision that is being made. And then we also list the source of truth. The user can decide whether they want to go ahead and make the configuration changes or not. We do not make the configuration changes for you. It's up to the user again to make it. Now I'll show you a demo of a use case on our dashboard to see how responsibly we are building our AI on the Meraki dashboard. So the quick time player, please. So okay, let us say you're a network admin and you get a help desk ticket, right? What do you do? If you're familiar with, how many of you are familiar with Meraki dashboard here? Okay, I see some hands. So if you're familiar with the Meraki dashboard, we have an assurance page that is integrated to Thousand Eyes. The user first goes and checks like if there is any network outage. Once there is no network outage, again, like I would like to pause here, I mean, little bit, see how we are, 1 second, Lali, can you go behind? I want to show them the privacy policy. I would like to actually pause there a little bit and show you how we are informing the users, like how we are taking the data very seriously, what type of privacy measures that we are taking here. So pause here. So here is the thing. We are telling everything to the user before we launch the AI assistant, and then now go ahead. And then now we are actually going to ask the AI assistant anything that you would like to troubleshoot on your dashboard. You're basically asking the assistant now. That is something Lali discussed before. And then you're asking it to troubleshoot a client MAC address, and then the AI goes and troubleshoots the client MAC address and tells you there is no DHCP acknowledgement. Again, the user is again asking the question. Every time the control is given to the user, right? That way you have control over it. So analyze the packet capture that was uploaded last night. So we have something called intelligent packet capture, that where if something goes wrong in your network, we upload it, and then the AI assistant analyzes the packet capture and tells you multiple DHCP servers are seen. Again, over and over, the AI just suggests things for you. It's the user that takes the decision. That's why there is transparency, there is fairness, and there is also accountability. So now you have multiple DHCP servers are seen, and then now you can ask what are all the rogue DHCP servers. So for you to go and like again make a decision, like you cannot see this is something, a classic networking problem that we have. So and then it lists like bunch of duplicates and then bunch of rogue DHCP servers, and now we are not making any configuration changes here. That way we are responsible here. And then you're asking again, how do I block one of these servers? It is telling you how to block and then giving you a source of truth. So the user goes to the link and then does further investigation and further reading to go make the decision for you. We are only taking accountability and having fairness here on our AI models to keep you informed like what exactly is going on, and then the user makes decision. Now I'll go over another example. This is something like, okay, I'm just troubleshooting a MAC address. Now there is another use case that I would like to show where you don't have any issues, but you're just constantly looking how to improve your network or how to make a change that you can potentially do it. So you are asking again, what can I do to optimize this network, right? It is only like suggesting some things where you just like how your coworker or somebody who's a networking expert that is suggesting for you. So we found one potential change. Again, this is again a suggestion. There is an AI RRM that you can enable on your wireless access points. And then now here you go. You don't know what AI RRM is at this point. You're asking a question again to the AI assistant and asking it, what is AI RRM? And then you're constantly learning and educating yourself, keeping yourself informed. And then we are again telling you what it is, listing you the source of truth. At every step we do, we are taking this measures for transparency and fairness. So again, now you ask which access point has channel utilization. We are going and polling all the information, running a bunch of APIs behind this assistant to get this information for you, just like how you would automate, right? Think of it like a sophisticated automation tool, and then we have models behind that has been trained. And then you're like, okay, fine, there is something wrong with my network in my lab, so maybe if I configure ARRM, I'll find some benefit. Fine, cool, I'll do it. So you're like, how do I configure ARRM? We don't make changes, we list the steps. That is where we are in AI as of today, where we want to take accountability for AI, and then we are listing the source of truth. Now the user goes and like makes the changes or decides, no, I don't want to make these changes. I don't care about this access point. That's fine, that's up to the user. This way we give the control to the user. So I just wanted to quickly emphasize that when we are building all this AI assistant and training the models, we are striving for all this privacy and security practices on the Meraki dashboard, which is a part of Cisco Networking Cloud. Again, all the initiatives. We have a certain principles in Cisco that we follow in order to take AI responsibly with this fast evolving changes that we see. So with that, I just wanted to show a demo of our AI assistant of how we build around it with all the talking points that we talked. And with that, I'm wrapping up my session. Over to you, Lali.
All right. So on the model side, like we have mentioned, we have a similar set of principles that we did in the experience. And some of them might actually be related, right? We talked about transparency before, we talked about privacy before, but there's a few ones that are different from the models. And just to quickly go over them, transparency, again, we inform the users when in AI it's being used and what data we're using in our technologies. Fairness, we try to make sure that our models are free of bias and they're not producing harmful results. We take accountability, so again, we provide feedback, mechanisms for feedback from the user so that we make sure that the data that we're providing you, it's accurate. Reliability, we want to make sure that AI Assistant is available for you and that it's producing the desired output that you're seeking to get from the AI Assistant. Security, everything we develop is done with security in mind, every layer of the application, from the experience all the way through the model. Privacy, again, we let you know what data we're using, and we're making sure that you are allowing us to use the data that you have produced to feed these models and train them. And so Priya, I just show you the demo of how we're doing that live on the Meraki dashboard. And if you want to know more about AI AI resources, about how we do AI responsibly, I included some links on the collateral material if you want to go and read about the papers. Again, we have a whole suite of solutions that use AI, and they're built on this framework. If you want to know more about the AI Assistant, which is the flagship interactive model that we have for AI today, we have overall responsible AI that we talked about, specifically the framework and then the principles that we went over today. If you want to continue this conversation, feel free to send us a note through WebEx. You can find us on the app if you have it downloaded. And don't forget to fill out the session survey so you can enter into the raffle. Continue your education. Please visit other booths and ask us questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you.